Hi everyone, you are welcome to Church of Uganda Family TV. This is Crowned with Purpose Show, your favorite show which comes to you every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Today we are shooting from the beautiful Rivonia Suits, which is found in Buya on Robert Mugabe Road. They have a beautiful space, they have a restaurant, conference rooms, and if you have a birthday party, a wedding, a confirmation party, a bridal shower, please don't hesitate to contact them and you can do your booking from there. Thank you very much. I am your host for today, Miriam Birakwate Mukombozi. I'm happy to see you. Please sit, call your neighbor, and have that conversation that we are going to have with you today. We are talking about addiction, and there are many forms of addiction. What forms of addiction do you know? Do you know someone addicted to something? Some people are addicted, very addicted to their phones, addicted to media. Others are addicted to drugs. Others are addicted to music. Others are addicted to pornography. So what is your addiction? Today, we are talking about drug addiction. And we have two gentlemen in the house. Dear gentlemen, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Miriam.
Thank you so much for choosing to come to Church of Uganda Family TV, specifically Crowned with Purpose Show. Maybe you are going to introduce yourselves. Yeah, let's start with the extreme left.
Yes, salutations, people. My name is Christian Chigozi. I am a student at the university and I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
my neighbor here, you can also introduce yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yes.
I am called Nahamia Joseph. I'm also in university. I'm in my first year. I'm a freshman. And yeah, I'm welcome to being on the show.
Fresher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll start with you immediately.
Yeah.
We talked about drug addiction.
Yeah.
Did you have any other addiction? Was it food addiction, gambling, media, or just drug addiction?
It was majorly drugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you start? What was your first encounter? What triggered you to start that journey?
Well, what triggered me to start that journey,
Yes.
I would say the music that we listened to.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a young boy. I had my own cell phone. Like you see, everybody has a phone these days.
How young? Like when was that?
I would say I started searching about drugs maybe when I was 16, 15, in that range.
16. So teenager.
Yeah, teenager.
Yes.
So you listen to music, they talk about a certain drug, you write it down, you go and make research about it. So when I was in my A level, I was 17 years, that time, senior 5. I heard about a drug that was available and I already knew about it.
You
Yeah.
heard about the drug
Yeah.
through?
Well, friends, you hear friends talk
okay,
about.
okay.
So I heard how it was accessed and I used those same means. Go to the pharmacy, ask for this and this, and then you access it. So that's how it started. Out of curiosity.
Sorry, what drug was that?
Oh, at that time it was cough syrup, codeine. Yeah.
Cough syrup.
Yeah.
My lord, cough syrup.
Yeah.
What's the name? That's
Well, it was codeine. It was just cough syrup.
okay.
That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So after that, I managed to allocate where I could get it. It was quite easy to get it. It was costly, but still, by that time, parents don't know what you're going through, and they are financing. They give you money, pocket money. You work when you're in the holidays, so there was money, so you could buy things. So the major thing I could say, by the time I started the drugs, I already knew about them. I just didn't know where to
You
locate
did
them.
research.
I did research,
Wow.
out of curiosity. Yeah. So that's how I started. Yeah.
That's the journey.
Yeah.
But remember, through friends. That one came out very well.
Yeah.
Through friends
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah, in school.
Yeah. Then also maybe interacted with the neighborhood, or it was just basically school.
Well, it was generally,
At school.
but I wouldn't say friends, because it's me that looked for it. I was curious to find out
Okay.
what these people
Because
are
at that
music.
age you're curious.
Yeah.
You have to know.
So I was curious to find out what these artists are talking about in the music. So I tried to experience what they're also going through, like the drugs they're taking and all of that. You know, they're role models when you're a child. Yeah. So I found out, accessed them, and that was it. That was the start.
Oh,
Yeah.
God have mercy on us.
Yeah.
Christian. your
Yes, I started around the same age. I guess I was about 15, 16. I was in high school, it was night prep. I can actually give you the scene very well. A friend of mine came during the night. I remember it was during examination week. He said, we were very stressed at that point because we were semi-candidates. Then he said, I have something for you. I was like, what do you mean? You know, I've been stressing over the past few weeks reading. Then he pulls out something from his pocket, and it's about the size of a chip. And he opens it, it's a piece of paper, and he puts it on the table. So I asked him, what's that?
During prep time.
During prep time, there was no teacher in the classroom. So he opens it, and there's a white powder. And I'm like, what's up? What's going on? So it's like, today we are going to try this thing. And I was very open-minded, but at the same time, I think I wanted to please him as well. There's always that pressure that you have between your friends to actually do something and show them you're not scared. So he poured it across the table, and then he rolled a 2,000 shilling note, and then we sniffed it. And
Oh my God.
yeah, so that was the first time I had ever tried drugs.
How did you feel? Was it a nice experience?
It was full of euphoria. It was something unlike I had ever felt before. It was the best feeling, but what I can tell you is I had never felt anything like that after that. Yes,
Because that was the first experience.
that was the first experience.
Remember, you're innocent, you've not
Yes.
tested it before. So now you're in a different world.
I was in a different realm entirely.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to know. So, the scene at prep time.
Yes.
Are other students looking at you like, are you under are you
So,
under the desk?
no.
Like, are you in a corner? Like, because we need to inform the world
Yes.
that what the teacher should look out for,
Yes.
what
Yes.
the parents should look out for.
Yes.
Are you hiding in a corner? Are you just in an open class or?
Now, naturally, yeah. For me, I'm a backbencher. So it was towards the end of the class.
Backbenchers.
Yes.
Mm.
Towards the end of the class, there was a little corner. Of course, most of us knew ourselves. I was not really, let's say, a top performer. So, yeah. It was quite open because it was on the table. It's not like people are standing up. But of course, being prep, people are, their heads are down in their books. No one's really paying attention. So you try and whisper, not make a lot of noise, not attract a lot of attention to you. The more you scuffle, the more you attract attention. But yeah, it was relatively
Okay.
open.
And that was at senior 5, senior 6?
No, about senior 3.
Senior 3.
Yes.
So how did you know the journey? Did you stop at that?
No, I continued. Now, after that first time, it became a regular occurrence. I was a user in and throughout school, and I would find almost every excuse to use. When I was happy, I would use, but also when I
That
was,
same one,
that same drug,
that
yes.
is heroin,
Heroin, yes.
Heroin.
Also known as brown sugar.
brown sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did use quite a bit of it during my time in school, senior 3, senior 4. And it went on as a normal occurrence, but by that time I was not yet addicted. As I said, I was just a user. The problem only became perpetuated, especially during COVID. And it was because I was idle. Now, by that time I had finished senior 4, I passed. Then I went to my A levels. Of course, I was using, but now COVID came after my A levels. So
That long vacation.
yes, that long vacation. So I started using regularly. So I would use every after like 2 weeks, every after 1 week. Then I started every after 3 days. Then every after a day, I would use.
Meaning that daily.
Daily use, yes. So the way I would access it in COVID, remember, it was lockdown. You weren't allowed to move. You weren't allowed to go out,
So how did you access?
Now that's where I come in.
We shall come to that.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, Christian, for sharing that journey. Back to you, Joseph.
Yes, please.
How did you graduate from the syrups? Yeah. And you also tell us, like after that syrup, were you feeling high? Like what triggered you to go to the next level?
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So, like I said, I took that first syrup when I was in senior 5. I quite didn't understand.
Were you sick?
I wasn't sick. I looked for it to get high. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So I took it. I felt drowsy, lazy.
That's true.
Yeah, you feel drowsy and lazy. So it was a calm feeling, and like he said, that first high you feel is what you're chasing the next day. You want that first experience. So I kept taking it, and then later I found, okay, my mom became suspicious. Like, oh, you're always calling me for medicine for cough, you understand? So I was like, I don't want to raise a red flag. So I tried to look for a substitution. So that's when I started taking tablets, those pills, So I started taking benzos, it's a type of pill. And it wasn't giving me so much of what I wanted. So I said, I graduated to weed, and I enjoyed it. But then,
in school.
In school. But same thing, you then move on to alcohol. Then finally I reached the heroin. But how I reached the heroin, I was thirsty for attention. I was craving that attention. And you're in school, and people know, okay, Joseph has. So I would make sure whenever I'm looking for what I want, I try to look for the best. So that's how I moved from.
So in other words, you became the supplier in the school. The consultant.
I wasn't supplying. Something like that.
Yes.
Consultant. Let's call it that. So I was looking for. I want them to know I have the best. So when I reached the weed, the alcohol, everybody's already using that. So like, what's something people don't use? So I heard about heroin, like you said, brown sugar. I didn't know it as heroin. I knew it as brown sugar. So I was directed where to get it by a colleague I studied with. And then the day I got it, I went back to school with it, tried it out with some friends. They enjoyed it, and I also did enjoy it. So the cycle.
You felt high.
Yeah.
On top of the world.
Yeah. Now that gave me a different feeling from everything else that I ever took. So I was now chasing for that same thing. So I would now leave school repeatedly. I had braces, so I'd leave school every month for checkups and what. So every time I would go home, I would try to smoke as much as I can.
Opportunity.
Yeah, smoke as much as I can, and also buy as much as I need to come with to school. So that's how I graduated.
So when you say buying, is it an open market? Are there known places?
Yeah, they're
You
very
might
well.
not say the name, but
Yeah.
like how do students access?
Well,
You go pay money, purchase like.
yeah, it's like that. You just go, be like, I need this. They give it to you. Give them the cash, they give you the drug. That's all.
And I think they're expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive. Yeah, they're expensive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then after that,
Yeah, so that's how I graduated.
you graduated from
So I
one
was
level
one level to
to
the
the
other.
other. Because Christian told us he started weekly, go to 3 days, then now daily.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because now that brings in addiction.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, say when I was in school, I was using. I wasn't like full on blown addict. But then when I went into my senior 6 vacation, now that I was now like 19. So I was working family business and all. Money is coming in. So I could access the drug easily. Yeah. Now you have the freedom. It's family business. You can move move out when you want. They won't question you. You can skip a day
You
at
got
work.
supply.
No, I wouldn't supply. I wasn't supplying. Nah.
No, I mean supplying items from the family business, just pretending. I don't know which business you are doing,
Oh,
but you had
okay.
access to to movements and all
Yeah,
that.
just moving around. When you go out, you don't question where have you gone,
Yes.
like other employees.
Okay.
So it became when I realized I was an addict. I was at the ghetto, and then one of the members there asked me, "Is like, well, I've seen you for some years, and you haven't yet come and stayed with us. You haven't yet shifted to the ghetto. Like, you now escape from home, go and stay there." Yeah. So I was like, no, why would that be? It's like, but you're smoking this heroin. Remember, I knew it was brown sugar the whole time. It's like, you're smoking heroin, so I didn't want to act like I didn't know. So I was like, yeah. So, but in my head, I was like, what?
Remember, you're the consultant.
Yeah,
You can't be beaten down.
Yeah. So I was like, what?
Yeah.
You mean I've been smoking heroin the whole time? So like, you mean you don't feel these withdrawals? They call them turkeys. You don't feel withdrawals, like you feel cold sweats. You don't feel your nose is running. You don't get diarrhea. You don't vomit. So when they said that, then it explained what I would feel at home when I don't take that day.
Yes.
But then when I was at home, I didn't know. So I would choose to say maybe it's a food poisoning. Maybe I just ate something bad. So when I got identified that way I was feeling was because I haven't smoked the drug. Then from that time I knew I was an addict. So now every day I needed, in order to cure that illness, I needed to take the drug. So you don't want to feel that sick. Yeah.
So that's how addiction came in.
Yeah.
Because for those who might not know addiction, it is when you're out of control. If you're addicted to food, whatever food you land on, you're always consuming, you're always hungry. So you're out of control. It is just beyond you. In other words, you cannot do away with that thing. If it is betting, even in the morning, early in the morning, you find these betting houses full. Someone leaves work to go and bet. That means that person is very addicted to betting. And there are those who are addicted to alcohol. I know people who cannot go to work minus taking 5 beers.
People are there.
Yes, they are there. Beer is breakfast. It is lunch. It is dinner. It has to be there. So my dear brother, my sister, you're addicted to that thing that you always, if it is a phone, there are people, if there is no network, my God, they call everywhere. They are just, what is happening? No WhatsApp. They are so addicted. So in other words, what they are sharing is that they started, slowly, monthly, weekly, 3 days. It came to daily, like every time they have to be doing their drugs. So before this show, we shared that you're church boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole time, because I'm wondering, and the viewers are out there wondering, for example, Joseph, you're a member of All Saints Reza,
Yeah.
and he's a member of
Watoto.
Watoto Church. And I know you have been active in church.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm wondering how a church boy who is always, in services, playing guitar, singing, and you're there. How did you get, to join the bad boys? We call them the bad boys. Ghetto life, because you're referring to ghetto.
Yeah.
Your parents used to take you to church. I know even Sunday school, you grew up in church. So how did this journey come into our lives? How did the devil come into our lives? We start with Christian.
Well, I used to go to church with my family, which used to be a family affair almost every Sunday. But I should mention that my family is split. My mom is on one side of the family, my father is on the other side, and I have step parents on both sides. So when I was on my father's side of the family, that's when I would go to church regularly. And I loved church a lot. I loved God a lot. I read my Bible. I play guitar sometimes, like maybe during Sunday school, also with my aunt when I would go to church. But it's not something that you foresee coming, because we know the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Very true.
Yes. And when he comes into a house that is organized, he comes out with 7
Destroy
others.
it.
Yes. So now For me, in high school, I was very naive. You have the peer pressure as we talked about before, but also you know that there are certain things that God does not like. There are certain things that your parents wouldn't like, but you still go ahead to do those things simply because you want to keep up certain appearances. You want to have a self-image of yourself that, man, for you can do almost anything. Now, you go to church, sometimes while even using, you're serving, you're very energetic, and everyone is wondering why this guy is like this, but they don't know the full backstory. They don't know what is going on. So it had been tough, because you have to show two different sides of your life, and it's almost exhausting because what people know you for and what you do behind closed doors are completely different things. But I can say, moving on, you learn to understand that there are certain things God does not want for us, and there are certain things that He would not wish on us as people. So, yeah, you learn to let go of certain habits and move on with your life with God.
So in other words, yes, you're a church person, but of course the influence at that age.
Yes.
Because you're trying to explore, you want to be seen, you want to be felt,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is the age, of like trying this and the other to identify who you are.
Yes.
Yes, and that is where most of the people lose it at teenagehood. 13, 14, 15, look out. And of course, as parents, we need to know that, yes, we look at them as, you might see a 13, 14-year-old. These days, they can, pretend to be old. They challenge you. They show you that they know a lot. But as a parent, you need to be very, very strict. And of course, as we are growing up, our parents were so strict. They would monitor us. They would make sure that they know what we are doing, which is different from nowadays. Nowadays, we are trying to bond more with our children, We are trying to make them friends. The more you make them friends, yes, it is good to make them friends, but we have to put our boundaries. You have to be a parent, and this is a child. And you have to keep guiding them all through until they reach that age that they can make real impacting decisions. So I wanted to go back to our homes.
Yeah.
Like, how did your parents discover? At what level did they find out? Like, really, you are addicted?
All right.
Yes.
So I'll say, I was scared to do my senior six because I knew I was not giving any attention to my books. You understand? So I went to my mother and I told her, I don't feel I have enough strength to pass senior six. I would like to repeat, like my form 5. Then she was like, why? I told her, I'm doing drugs, I'm smoking weed.
You confessed.
I confessed to her.
Yes.
Yeah. But then in the confession, I didn't put the magnitude of what it was. She maybe thought, okay, maybe you have just tried once or something like that, like get back on your feet. She didn't know that I was a user. Yeah. So she was like, no, it's okay. Stay in school, you will make it through, God will make a way, all that. So now, past ahead, we go to senior 6 vacation. I'm working, guys are realizing my patterns aren't a normal person.
Not straight,
And when you're smoking that heroin, you use the foil paper and matchsticks, lighters. So you're spending most of your time in the toilets. Like, hey man, Joseph has been in the toilets for 30 minutes now. Yeah, what is he doing?
Oh.
You'll be like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I had a running stomach. I wasn't feeling okay. Then after some hours pass by, you go back. Like, what is this guy doing in the toilet? Like, most of my time was spent in the toilet. Or walking around, trying to look for what else to sell in the house, or where to get the next money, because they're not cut me off from money and what. So like, no, this person isn't okay, isn't normal. So I actually, when I started realizing they're noticing the patterns, I approached her this time. I told my sister, come with me, come mommy. We entered the room. I told them like things are serious. Things are serious. But like the African society, mental health isn't given a lot of attention.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So my mom was all about, let's pray about it. Let's put everything in Christ's hand. Give your life to Christ. And they don't know that some things aren't easy to let go. So they took it lightly. Yeah. So until later on again in 2020, I told them, nah, I need rehab.
That was during COVID.
It was past COVID. At the end, it was now
Yes,
November. I told them, nah, I need rehab. I need help.
Yeah.
So that's when we went into Butavika. I checked into Butavika, and it didn't go successfully. That story didn't go successfully, but that's how my parents got to find out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you confessed.
Yeah.
Oh, Christian, how did your parents discover?
Well, for me, I think it had been something long suspected from my parents, because certain behaviors about me changed, specifically times in the house, times outside the house, also in school.
Like you became an indoor person or an outdoor?
Initially, I was an outdoor person. I loved to do activities outside, maybe play football and all those things. But after some time, they noticed that he doesn't like spending time doing those certain activities. Then I started to like to party, especially around A level. I like to go out with my friends. Besides that, my grades were declining, especially during A level. So I think my mom was wondering, why are my grades declining? I remember going for PTCs, parent-teacher consultations with my mom and the economics teacher, and he couldn't put his finger to it, because to him, he was like, this guy has all the brains to pass this subject, and it seems like he just does not want to pass my subject. And my mom was very perplexed. So it was after, during COVID, when I started to use consistently. I would buy almost every day. That by mistake, one day, I left a few of the packets of the drugs in the chair, and she sat in that
In the sitting room.
Yes, she sat in that very chair, and she looked at them. I think she didn't understand. Now I saw her holding those packets, but I did not want to ask her if she knew, or so I just played it off as cool. But she then approached me the next day, and then she was like, I saw the packets in the chair, and I tasted what was in the packets. And what she said, like, she put her finger and tasted it. And she told me, do you know what happened? Immediately I got a running stomach.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, it's time to come clean. So then I told my mom, I've been having this issue since about senior 3. I was about 15. Now I'm about 19. So 4 years, she did not know. I think for the last year she had been suspecting, but she couldn't say anything, only because she did not have proof. So what we worked out was, I go for the outpatient program in Butavika. So we go for the outpatient. I would attend those meetings that they would have on Tuesdays. And for some time it stabilized myself, but of course it wasn't enough, because as you know, the journey of addiction is progressive. But for a while it helped, until it didn't, because then again I started using, and this time even much more than
So that takes us to still what we're sharing, that as parents we need to monitor, we need to set boundaries, and we need to bond as we are taking care of our children, for them to be responsible adults. Because we shall see after the break that they went into homes, they went for rehab, and of course for them the Lord has been gracious. but sometimes it continues up to adulthood. You find a husband who is addicted, you find, it continues. So as parents, let us set boundaries, let us monitor, let us bond, the three of them. And I know as we pray, as we look after our children, the Lord will help us. We are going after, for the break. We are going to come back and share about their journey to recovery. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. See you.